This video is going to introduce the example in this chapter, the Brindi's Bagel House. This is the whole project, almost include everything. And also this chapter, Professor Tony Geddes already have two very good videos. One is simple GUI application, another one handle event. So I want to use Brindi's Bagel House project to introduce the whole concepts of the different component, how each element, each component works, right? So in order to work on this project, I want to first I want to go to the chapter file. In this module chapter file, yes, download the source code, and after you download, you extract all the files. You see here there is a Brindi's Bagel House, which means all the code already here. So you then go to NetBeans, create a project called Brindi's Bagel House, and copy all the files to the src directory like we did before, right? Then you can working on you can start on this project. I'm gonna go ahead to introduce each of them. So in this case, because the source code is ordered alphabetically, so it doesn't make too much sense to you. I want to introduce each panel and the integrated together the calculator interface. First, let me introduce the Bagel Panel. You can see there is a Bagel Panel, there is a coffee panel, there is a greeting panel, and also there is order calculator GUI. This is the front interface. So let's take a look at the front interface. This is also image, is a logo, and a greeting. Also have a greeting panels. Before I go to each detail panel, let's take a look at the order calculator. This is the whole interface I told you, I mentioned before, right? You can take a look in this order calculator GUI, which is the main. If I run this one, I can show you. And this is interface for the customer interface. In other words, you can base on this to order your bagels. Based on the layout concept you learned, you can see this is border layout. I'm going to move my code to the top. You can take a look from here. The border layout been defined. Border layout, right? And the border layout we're talking about north, west, center, east, south. In other words, from this interface, you can see this panel is south, this panel is north, and this is west, east, center, right? So in other words, you have a general idea. Then we go to each panel to discuss here, each panel to discuss in detail, and you can see this, the order calculator GUI, which is all together, is laying out the different component, different panels. So let me exit this, then go to each panel to explain this, right? So first go to Bagel Panel. In Bagel Panel, we define a class called Bagel Panel extends dpanel, and we have a constructor, right? Also, we have a public method to get bagel cost, which means you calculate the prices. So let's take a look what you have in this panel. This panel, I have two buttons. One is white bagel, one is wheat bagel. In other words, this panel allow you to choose the type of bagels, right? And you can define white bagel equals the button white true. This is default being selected, right? And also wheat bagel is a new G button. This is how to create a button. And then you have a BG equals new button group. Then you add this two bagel. In other words, because this is a redo button, you have to group them together. So BG is the variable of button group, and you need to create a button group from here. Then you add these two radio buttons into that group. So you can do a radio button, you can only select one. Then this is you can set the border and to be a title with Bagel. Then you call add method. Some students being confused. I have a BG add, I have add here. What this add mean? So the BG add, you can see this is the button group. Button groups. You add these two buttons to the button group. But this add is directly call the method, which means probably Bagel have that method. But if Bagel doesn't have, that means because Bagel Panel extends G Panel, so that means this two add method should be a public method of G Panel. So Bagel Panel can use it directly. So let's go to the Google, look to Google to prove what I said is right. Let's copy this G Panel and paste it here. Then you hit enter. The first look is good enough. SE7, SE8, they are same. So you need to looking for the add method. Right? We are talking about method. It doesn't like the parentheses. So I'm keep looking. Let me see. Do I have an add method? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. See, method inherit from container. In other word, Bagel Panel inherit from G Panel. G Panel inherit from container. Then if I click on one of this, I saw this. This is public, right? This is public, so I can use it directly. In other words, when I go back to this constructor Bagel Panel, you can understand. Which means I add these two white bagel and wheat bagel into my Bagel Panel, which is inherited from G Panel, and G Panel inherit the add method from container. Then this get bagel cost, not calculate container. This is get bagel cost. This bagel, let's take a look. I think we should have set some price. Yes, we did. We set some price already for the white bagel and wheat bagel. So I have to base on which one you selected. So I determine what price I count it for the bagel cost, right? So you can see white bagel 1 is selected. What is that? What is white bagel 1? White bagel 1 is defined as a button. Is selected, which means I'm calling white bagel 1's is selected method. So you can see I use white bagel 1. White bagel 1 is an object, which means is select method should be defined by JReadToButton Java class, and it's not a static method. Why it is not? I can tell immediately it's not a static method because I use the object name to reference it, to call it, right? So let's prove that JReadToButton did define a method called is selected. So let me change. Let me do it later. Let's do it now. It doesn't matter. I am going to change my mouse pointer to be a little bigger so you can see my movement clearly, right? Yes, it's much better. So in other words, I need to copy the G button class name and go to Google. This is what we do in the at work, right? Whenever you, because nobody can remember all this stuff, right? Whenever you need something, you need to go to the document to read this stuff. We are looking for is selected. So this is the method inherit from class abstract button. So we click on this method, you can see there is no static method in front of it. It proved my guess, which means you can use the object name white button white bagel one or wheat bagel, well, not one, white bagel or wheat bagel object could reference it. I did use that one. So this one, you read the document is check if this radio button is selected or not. In other words, this method can determine based on which button you choose. I gave the price for the bagel you selected, right? Next one is Brindi logo. This is logo image. It's used for when you load the page. If for instance, if take a longer time, then I'm gonna use this image to display there instead of a blank page to comfort the customer, right? We talk about this called some splice window at the last part of this chapter. Let me see. I'm looking for the page numbers. Where is it? A splash screen, 12.7. So this is image only for use that one, right? So let me introduce next panel. We talk about bagel panel. Let's talk about a coffee panel. Coffee panel is same thing. Extend J panel, and I have a price for different type of coffee, and this is also radio button. Have a 4 different coffee allow you to choose. And in this one, we don't have anything new. Just create this button for coffee and add all this button to be the group. Then we call the method G panel coffee panel inherited from G panel, and G panel inherited from container, right? We already checked that one. So add this few component into the G coffee panel, not G coffee, but coffee panel. Then the cost is the same thing like a bagel, which we check which coffee been selected, then determine how much we paid, right? So this is nothing new. And do we have anything else? Yes, is greeting panel. Greeting panel. Let's take a look. Greeting panel also a panel extend from G panel, and it has nothing but a label, welcome, so on, so right. So and add this panel to add this label to the panel. So nothing new. And the next one is topping. Topping coffee bagel is the 3 main panels to allow customer to choose different product. And the same concepts. We have a different price for topping. We have a checkbox this time, which means nothing difficult at all. Different is the bagel and the coffee is radio button allow you to choose only one, but the topping you can choose multiple, which means checkbox, right? I use grid layout for this topping. The checkbox, I lay out them with a grid layout method, right? Then I create a checkbox. I add all the checkbox to the topping panel, and also I set border to be have a title with toppings. So in other words, we don't have problem to understand the 3 panels: bagel panel, coffee panel, and topping panel. Then we also have a greeting panel, right? Then we need go to the anything I left. I don't go to the order calculator. In other words, let's go to the main customer interface. Let's take a look. I create a bagel panel, topping panel, coffee panel, and greeting panel. And also I have a 2 button. One is calculate, one is exit, and also a new panel from here, from this class, right? And you can see I use grid border layout to put the bagel, the coffee, the topping, the banner, into different location. Which means, let me run this one. In other words, I'm gonna I'm not resizing. I'm gonna lay out this one. This is the banner. This is the bagel panel. This is topping. I put it in center. Coffee on the west, east. Bottom is the two button I introduced. It's declared from here, right? One is calculate, one is exit. North, south, west, center, east. So we lay out that way. We don't have any problem to understand that. Then we need to set visible. Then we need to call the pack method. Pack method. What is pack method? So first, if I were you, I'm gonna looking for the class definition. Do I have a pack method? Define locally? Note, which means you inherit from somebody. I saw here extends JFrame. So that means I guess the JFrame gonna have a pack method. Let me check that one, right? JFrame. And you click on this link and you look for PACK. Do we have a format? Let me looking for, right? Method. This is the package. Pack, I saw here there is a method inherit from Windows, which means pack did is a method we can directly call because it's public, right? It's a grandparents public method, so absolutely I can call it directly. So, and you can read the description. This is caused the window to be resized to be, perfectly fit the subcomponent. So in other words, I better call it the pack, right? The pack method. Then I said visible. Then very important, I have to handle the event of the calculate button and exit button. We have a two action listener. You see, this is the button, the build button panel, right? I built two buttons. And this is the button panel, which is a new panel. I put these two buttons inside that panel, and this panel been put. If I run the program, I think is the north. Yes, it's the bottom, which is not north. In other words, I check it with yes, the layout. Oh no, north. The bottom is source. Bottom is source. The top is north. So in other words, I check this one. The bottom panel did been put on the border layout of the source. So let's go back to this one, the build button panel method. I have two actioner be added to these two buttons. In other words, I need to handle when after you click on these two buttons, what you need to do. Take a look. The first one, the exit listener. The exit listener. It is here. Just exit the system. In other words, close the window. That's easy, right? The other one is calculate button. In other words, I choose so and so bagel, so and so coffee, so and so pork topping. You need to give me a price. So this method does that, right? Does that. I call bagels, calculate bagel toppings, get topping cost. Coffee, get coffee cost. I sum them together and plus the sale tax, which is defined, I think 6%, right? Yes, 6%. So then you return the whole price. In other words, if I run this, I choose white bagel, I choose all of the topping and regular coffee. I calculate. It displays the total cost $5. It's very cheap, right? $5.04. Then I exit, which means I finish my order, right? So in other words, if you run this program, you can navigate the interface, right? Which means the order calculator GUI should have a main method, because all the other methods you cannot run them. Right? They are definition. So let's take a look at the file. It should be a main method. Yes, we do have a main method defined here. Usually at work, when we design a class and we want to test this class, we can put the main method here instead of to create a separate main method. The book introduced that also. So make it easy. In other words, make your work easy. You have a definition of the class, then you have a method. You can run it directly from here, right? But also, when you finish this product, you need to remove this main method. In other words, let's take a look at the leftover Bagel Java. Bagel Java does the same thing. Bagel just like a demo method. It does nothing but do the same thing like the main method does here. So in other words, if I comment this one out, I run the bagel.java, it should work the same way. Yeah, no. Let me see what's wrong. I probably missed. Oh, okay, I see what's wrong. I didn't comment up. I didn't finish the comments. Let's run this. Yes, it gave me the same interface. In other words, this bagel.java is the file demonstrate all this stuff. Also, in other words, it means this main method here is redundant. So you can practice this. It won't hurt anything. You just move around, right? Make sure you understand every single thing. This example is a very good one. It has all the knowledge, all the technique we learned in this chapter all together. So I want you to watch my video and understand every single word I talked about. Thank you for watching.